We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight as the LSU basketball Tigers beat the Georgia Bulldogs 84-65. A very impressive showing for the LSU Fighting Tigers on the hardwood. Darius Days gets a triple-double, 15 points, 12 rebounds. Brandon Murray with 15 points. Tari Eason almost a rebound away from having a triple-double himself, but having 21 points and 9 rebounds as the Tigers did really, really good tonight. Xavier Pinson gets 10 assists. So a lot of great passing, a lot of great offense showed by the Tigers tonight. However, the Georgia Bulldogs are not a great basketball team, but LSU will take this win 9 out of 10 out of 10 times, especially after giving up 90 plus points to the Georgia Bulldogs the last pair of times that they had played them. So we'll talk about the LSU basketball team, the post game. Look, you should have done exactly what you did. Will Wade getting teed up might spark off for Ruffino's rants here. Is why you can't even argue a call without SEC referees getting their panties in a wad. I mean, you can't even argue a call and the referees are going to tee you up. I mean, God forbid Nick Saban were to coach basketball. Don't be soft, man. Don't be that soft, for crying out loud. I mean, we have 1,800 comments per show historically on all 3 platforms, and not all of them are nice. Get over it. I mean, have some thicker skin. Anyway, we will talk some LSU football as there is no offseason. We have told you that there is no offseason. LSU's Brian Kelly tells the coaching staff and players that he wants the LSU swag back. Man, I got that swag. Polo down my back. We'll talk about some LSU football and what Brian Kelly is telling the team. We will do the LSU's One Piece Away Part 2. If you missed a show, I did a pre-recorded show. Still feeling a little bit underneath the weather. But nevertheless, good enough to come on today. So we did a pre-recorded show. If you missed it, it's on our YouTube channel. The full episode. We put some bits and pieces out on YouTube or on Twitter and Facebook for everybody to listen to. So we will rediscuss that tonight. Hashtag Ask Blake. We missed it last night. We do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you have questions, have comments, put inside the Rudy Crew chat. Hashtag Ask Blake, and we'll get to all of those. Or at least as too many of them as we can, for sure. So everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to some Facebook groups. If you're on Facebook, there's a lot of you joining us there already. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification bell. Growing ever so much on the YouTube channel. As I told you, we'll be doing more content on our YouTube channel. We will be having exclusive interviews outside of the live shows, specifically coming to our YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell there as well. Follow us on Twitter, AYS Sports as well. If you're listening to us on the audio podcast platform, don't forget to rate and subscribe there as well. We greatly appreciate it. Let's get to a couple of these comments. Let's see here. Aunt Marshall says, "What's good, Rudy Crew?" Craig Schilling says, "Ah-ha-ha. We are live." That we are. I saw a comment from Nookie. He said he shared the show to his MySpace page. Did I miss that? No, there it is. Shared on my MySpace. Tom gave me a thumbs up. How about that? Is MySpace still up and running? Somebody tell me inside the chat, is MySpace still up and running? I don't even know how to get into my MySpace. Brian Kelly the GOAT on YouTube says, "Hey, Blake, I'm drunk. One win. You want to link up tonight? I'm ready, bro." Yeah, if you missed it tonight, some guy said he was feeling himself. He was very emotionally driven. He was trying to get it inside the he was trying to tell somebody inside of his DMs he was H word, ends with a Y, has a orin in the middle of it. So Fred says, Nookie, who is the weekend rotation going to be? Well, if you missed it, it is going to be Blake Money starting off Friday, then Mikael Hilliard, and Jay Johnson did not reveal who he will start Sunday, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe the whole staff will they'll piece it together on Sunday, but hopefully LSU can get off to a very good start. That lineup is very lethal. We'll talk a little bit more LSU baseball as the season is right here upon us. That 1 through 9 of LSU baseball is absolutely unreal. Unreal. So we'll talk on that as well. Okay, let's do this. Let's pay some bills around this thing, and then we'll get started. None better than our good friends over at GM Varno & Sons and betonline.ag. Guys, with over 65 years of experience, nobody's better equipped to servicing your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them your good friend, Mr. Blake Ruffino, over at AYS, sent you on by. Our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, we've been telling you about BetOnline for such a long time now. So many big things that you could do over at BetOnline. Next coaches that are hired and fired. Olympics. Football. You want to do preseason football updates. They can do that for you. You want to pick who the national champion's going to be. Do that. Everywhere we place our bets, it comes from betonline.ag. For a 50% welcome bonus, use the Believe Podcast tab, BLEAV, Believe Podcast tab. That way they'll give you that 50% welcome bonus. Again, it's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. All right, let's get this thing rolling, y'all. Let's get this thing rolling, y'all. I don't know why I laugh at that all the time, but nevertheless, I do. Nookie says, I believe his Christian name is Yodak Babarucci. Ryan Thibodeau says, was that Sergio? Yeah, God bless it. God bless it. We can't talk on Sergio. Man, those Twitter spaces go hard, man. Pause. Do us a favor by hitting a like and share. I see a lot of people joined us there just a second ago. We would greatly appreciate it if you do hit that like and share. Fred Jackson says, that's what I'm thinking. What about Fontenot? Let's see if Fontenot comes out the pen. Maybe he starts on Sunday. Maybe he comes out the pen. Let's see what they do. But I don't know if Devin's completely ready to take on a starting role. But, look, Mikael Hilliard did not like and was not productive coming out of the pen. They let him start, and he completely changes as a pitcher. Funny how that happens, huh? Nurse Court says, BetOnline worked out fabulous for me on the Super Bowl. Yeah, it really is where we place all of our bets. Very easy to do. Very accessible. Court sent me what she bet on. She made her some money, y'all. She made her some money. Got to give her credit where credit's due. Brandon says, come on, people, hit that like button. Yeah, everybody hit that like button. 56. We want to get to 100. Every episode, we want to get to at least 100 as well. Josh Roy says, keep it rolling, Blake. Thank you. All right, well, look, we'll keep it rolling by this. We'll talk some LSU basketball right here just because it's a post game. Look, I'm not going to take too much away from this game. The only thing that I would say that kind of ticks me off or that's the biggest takeaway for me is like, man, these SEC referees, I mean, you got to grow you a pair. I am the kind why a lot of people watch the show or follow us is because I'm very brash. I'm very to the point. I don't like to sugarcoat a lot of things. Now, sometimes I do, but mainly I just gonna come to the point. And Will Wade got teed up for disputing a call. You could read his lips. Doesn't curse the guy. He says, "Oh, frick." He doesn't say frick, but he says, "Oh, F." I mean, come on, man. And he's telling that to the ref. And they tee him up. I mean, I hear a lot about myself and this generation and how we're soft, but these referees, I mean, man, they're softer than tissue paper. Tissue paper is harder, pause, but harder than some of these SEC referees. Why are you teeing up Will Wade for disagreeing with you on a call? I don't understand it. You have a problem in the SEC with referees and umpires. And yes, there is technically an umpire for football. Look it up. I'm not just making that up. And even, maybe you could even say, speaking of umpires, but we'll probably see some this Friday that make some bad calls. I know it's very difficult to do what these guys do. Like I get it. But it's not, I mean, you're the human being that has to keep your emotions in check. It's what you're paid to do. You're not paid to make a call that's very emotional. You're paid to regulate what goes on the football field, the diamond, or the football field. Nevertheless, LSU does some really good stuff tonight. Again, if you missed it, LSU wins 84-65. Darius Days gets a double-double, has 15 points. Brandon Ingram has 15 points. Tari Eason's a rebound away from having a double-double with 21 and 9. Xavier Pinson had a really good night. 7 points, 10 assists. Very, very good overall showing for the Tigers on the hardwood. But for the life of me, man, I don't understand it. There's got to be something. I would love for referees and umpires to be able to do a post-game press conference, right? Like, do a post-game press conference. Ask him, why did you tee up Will Wade? I mean, bro, absolutely asinine. Absolutely asinine. LSU's got a tough stretch in these last couple of games. Kentucky on the road, Arkansas on the road. I mean, look, there's a lot of banjo playing stuff that goes on at Bud Walton Arena in Arkansas, too. That's not going to be an easy game. Neither is going to play Nate Oates. I mean, and look, Nate Oates, I mean, that game's in Baton Rouge, but Will Wade has not beaten Alabama with Nate Oates as the head coach. So we'll see as that monitors. So fire in your questions and thoughts inside the Rudy Crew Tread, hashtag Ask Blake. I don't get it. I don't get it. Ryan Thibodeau says Milazzo hitting 400 this season. Well, a lot of people have said that he's looked a lot better at the plate, him and Cade Beloso. But we'll get to that, as the show goes on. I mean, look, even if he hits 215, 220, I'm okay with that. He cannot hit 150 to 190. He's got to get above 200. He's got to get over the Mendoza line. So, regardless, Jack Davis says the FBI can't help them get Wade, so the NCAA is going to force him out by any means necessary. Yeah, I would agree with that if it wasn't SEC officials. The NCAA has nothing to do with these SEC officials. It's the SEC. It's the SEC. What's the SEC so pissed off about? You're not calling that against Auburn. And look, they tried to, Auburn's officials and boosters tried to blame Brian Harsin for cheating on his wife, and you don't see anything going on there. I mean, look, I am good with getting on Will Wade when it's necessary and the time is right to talk about Will Wade and criticize any coach or any player, especially now with NIL when the time warrants it. Getting teed up for disagreeing with a call is not that time. It's not that time. But the one thing that Will Wade does have is swag. This is what we call a transition. And something that's interesting, we'll talk a little LSU football and we'll get into baseball here at the end. But something that I have picked up on from numerous people on staff at LSU is that Brian Kelly, so let's get into this football stuff. Brian Kelly has made a very big effort to tell the entire staff, to trickle down to the players, that LSU needs to get their swag back. You ever seen that movie, Stella Gets Her Groove Back? That might be a little too old for some of you. That you might be a little too young. Regardless, there's a great movie called Stella Gets Her Groove Back. And in the entire movie, she goes out and she does things, friends, individually. And she goes out and she finds a groove back. Stella wearing high heels, tight dresses. Stella eventually gets her groove back. Look at, it's always interesting to me about what great coaches and how they view LSU when they're not here. From what I understand, Brian Kelly has told the staff to then trickle down to the players of what LSU has been known of historically over the last 20 years. From when, and even before then, when LSU had Skip Bergman and the Intimidator, and Louisiana and LSU as a program had swag, which then ultimately winning championships gets them to go after a guy by the name of Nick Saban, make him the highest paid coach in the country. Then when you make that guy the highest paid coach in the country, you bring in really good recruits. One of those best recruits just won a Super Bowl starting at left tackle for the Los Angeles Rams. And the interesting part of this to me is that since Brian Kelly has told the team and the staff to start getting that intensity back, at least for me, the one thing that it hits me in a specific spot is well, where did it go? You won a national title in 2019. Where did that swag go? Where did that intensity go? The more and more I hear from people inside of LSU, the more and more and more I start to like the Brian Kelly hire. I'm going to be cautious and be very, not weary. Weary is not a good word. Very, how about this? How about this? Just looking forward to his regime. I'm also going to monitor when he tells people stuff when he doesn't have a lot to say. Now, if the local media wants to tell you specific things about Brian Kelly not doing a press conference, that's on them. I'm washing my hands of it. Let them have their opinion. I'm too tired, literally. As your boy couldn't do the show yesterday because of extreme fatigue, literally, not making that up. Like diagnosed, and some sinus issues, but I'm really looking forward to the spring and the intensity that Brian Kelly brings. Even so much so, and I talked about this in the piece in the show from last night, and it's this. There's a feeling around that building that they're a quarterback away. And I know I continue to get beat up by this, and I know I know that we continue to bring it up. But if you missed the piece in the show from that I uploaded today, go back and rewatch it after this show. It will explain a lot. No one's saying that they don't have the quarterback talent on this roster already, but do not be surprised if they don't start kicking the tires even harder, that if one goes in the portal, they don't go grab him. Not saying it's going to happen. It's going to be really interesting. So, nevertheless, find it very curious that Brian Kelly's message is find your swag. You know, it's like Michael Jordan at halftime in Space Jam, and he's pulling out Michael's secret drink. Got to find that swag, man. Sometimes the only thing it has to be is a mental block. PJ and CJ on YouTube says, hey, LSU is finally positive in the SEC. Yep, they're over 500 for their, just the second time this season. Edward O says, Ruffino in the flex. What's happening, Edward O? What's happening? Rick says Easton is averaging 16.6 points off of the bench and goes over 20 tonight. Phenomenal job. Yeah, he's been taking his game to a different level. And Xavier Pinson had a good night. Nobody can dispute it. But again, Tari Easton is going to be a lottery pick, guys. He's going to be a lottery pick. Look, you got to beat South Carolina. This is the bare minimum for LSU. The bare minimum for LSU to get into the big tourney. They got to beat South Carolina Saturday. They got to beat Missouri. What was it? Is it Tuesday? No, it might be next Saturday. But they have Kentucky, and then it would be that Saturday because they have Kentucky during the week, Missouri that Saturday, and then you close it out with Arkansas and Alabama. You 1,000% have to beat South Carolina, and you have to beat Missouri. You can't fall in those two games. And then you have to pray to God that you beat one of the last three of the big three. I know if you get to 9 wins in the conference, that you'll be sitting pretty high and pretty fly, and you probably will get into the tournament. But man. Pooh Bear says, what's up to Court and Danny? Yeah, a lot of the Twitter space people are in here tonight. Pooh Bear says, extreme fatigue the day after Valentine's Day. Sheesh. Just bragging out, Blake. I don't mean it like that. No. Not like that. Nope. No. Guys, I was extremely exhausted yesterday and just got diagnosed with extreme fatigue. And, I had some sinus issues, and in today's society, I still don't feel the best. Let me say that. I don't feel good at all. But we'll see. Stephen Frey says Manning scheduled to visit LSU in the spring. BK not throwing in the town yet on Arch. Let me make my comments here on Arch Manning. Because Steve Wilfong of 247, not saying he's right, not saying he's wrong. Steve Wilfong is reporting what he's hearing about Arch Manning. 2 words here. David Cutcliffe. If you've missed it, David Cutcliffe, going over to Texas. I mean, let me see if that's been made official. Let me just make sure, because I don't want to say anything and it not be completely official. But I don't know if it y'all let me know inside. I don't think that that's been made completely official yet. Chris Hummer on February 7th says there's a good possibility a former head coach joins the Texas staff. Yeah, I don't know if that's been made official, but from a lot of people in a lot of circles, it would appear that David Cutcliffe is going to be making his way to Texas. If he does make his way to Texas, Arch Manning's going to Texas, especially with them coming into the SEC. When you have Peyton being under Cutcliffe and Cutcliffe being the offensive coordinator, Eli Manning and the Cutcliffe I'm going to be careful there. But Eli Manning playing for David Cutcliffe, both of the Mannings working out with David Cutcliffe during every offseason. Like, he was literally their quarterback's coach. And then if Cutcliffe does go, or the deity, as my good friend Bill King would call him, goes to Texas, I don't see Arch Manning going anywhere else. I'm going to need to see Arch Manning go elsewhere before I say he's not going to follow Cutcliffe. For everybody saying that it's the money, for everybody's going to be offering Arch Manning money. Everyone's going to have their own specific NIL deal. Everybody walk on, every one of them. The money's not going to be the issue. Not with Arch Manning. For anybody, LSU can offer what Texas will offer Arch Manning. Stop with this $10 million a year bullshit. Stop, guys, stop that. So I don't want to, stop. Now, can he make a couple $1 million a year? Maybe, sure. But stop with the $10 million a year and he's not even playing. Come on, man. Come on. But I don't, guys, I'll also need to see him come to LSU. I also need to see him come and to commit to LSU. Stephen Frey says, Jack Davis, damn, I didn't know you was his agent. I didn't see what Jack Davis said. But he says Arch Manning is not coming to LSU. Yeah, Stephen, I agree with that. I don't see him coming, especially with, as Jeff says here, Blake, I've watched Walker Howard play in person. He's a better quarterback, hands down. I don't disagree with that. I've also seen Arch play in person, and I agree with that statement. I would take Walker Howard right now over Arch Manning. Arch is also younger than him. So what can he do, and how can his body transition from being a junior to a senior? We'll go from there. We'll have to wait and see there. But nevertheless, I'm going to need to see it. I'm going to need to see it. Dylan Allen says, hashtag Ask Blake, I'd rather Dante Moore, to be honest. I don't completely disagree with you there. I don't disagree. Brandon says, Blake's got the inside info on the Arch. Take it to the bank. I wouldn't say I have I wouldn't say that I have inside info on Arch Manning. What I would say is that, guys, you can't overthink and talk yourself into something that's not there. If both Manning boys that play quarterback are literally working out all off season with David Cutcliffe, and David Cutcliffe goes to Texas, Texas is the leader in the clubhouse. Bottom line. I don't know if Brian Kelly would hire David Cutcliffe because he wants to work with the quarterbacks. I also think that the Mannings and people hate it when you talk negative about the Mannings. They try to control too many things. Way too many things. Let the kid go go to school where he wants to go to school. Let him go. The kid wants to go to Ole Miss. Let him go to Ole Miss. I mean, his name alone is going to get him, is going to get him wherever he wants to go. If it's about development and you want to lead him in the right direction, that's one thing. The kid wants to go to Ole Miss. Ultimately, let him go. If he wants to scream hidey tidy until his fraternity britches fall off, fine by me. Fine by me. I don't care. I really just don't care. So, Pooh Bear says, hashtag Ask Blake, hate to shift on you, but I have very little faith in Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael. Yeah, if you missed it, during the LSU basketball game, it was announced by Ian Rappaport, the rap sheet, that Pete Carmichael is going to be staying on as the new, I guess officially, offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. I also do not like this. I know that people are defending Nick Underhill and don't agree with me and want to agree with Nick, and that is fine. What I would tell you is if Drew Brees, in my opinion, if Drew Brees doesn't want Pete Carmichael calling plays, do you know more football than Drew Brees? If you act and think that you do, and you think the cohesion and the camaraderie is going to save you on 3rd and 2 against Aaron Donald, you're a damn fool. Not only are you a damn fool, you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, and you probably played the flute in your local high school's marching band, because with all due respect, that does not save you. Again, if a first ballot Hall of Famer and Drew Brees didn't want Pete Carmichael as his offensive coordinator and calling plays, why in the hell do you think it's okay for Dennis Allen? Let's also call a spade a spade. I really don't think that this is Dennis Allen's move here. You can like that take. You can hate that take. I really don't care. But until the day comes when Dennis Allen's given full control of that locker room and coaching staff, you're not going to do crap offensively, because Pete Carmichael's not going to lead you anywhere. He's not good enough of a play caller to do so. But I'm going to need somebody to tell me why Drew Brees behind the scenes did not like Pete Carmichael and you do. He's been with the team. I don't give two Rudy Poos if he's been there for 55 years. I don't care what he's been a part of. Pete Carmichael's not a good offensive coordinator. I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. Dennis Allen's going to be, I don't know. Colin Thibodeau says there will never be a Manning attending LSU to play football. Never say never, my friend Colin. Never say never. But I'll need to see it just like you. Jeff says if a player like Arch incorporates big programs as far as showing interest, doesn't matter his chance at a huge NIL deal. Yeah. He's got, guys, money's the last thing on his mind. I'm telling you. Everybody likes to throw out money when it's not their own. But, if you work at the local State Farm, shout out to my good friend Carol Foss. By the way, we will be announcing the $300 gift card giveaway winner tomorrow. And that was sponsored by a good friend Carol Foss over at State Farm. Call him today, 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all the great rates on auto, home, and life insurances. But you know what I'm going to start doing? What I'm going to start doing is, since we talked so much about everybody else's money, when's the last time I've come on here and talked about somebody else's money? I don't give two craps if he's making $25 or $25 million. Does money rule a lot of things? Absolutely. But I'm about to go to the local State Farm or the local post office and start announcing everybody that comments in this chat what you make. Maybe not everybody, but you get what I mean. I'm going to start announcing what you make a year. Here comes Brittany. Brittany comments, and what's that, Charles? Breaking. Brittany makes $41,000 a year. She does not have any other offers from anybody else. It's her second year in the job of being a school teacher, and Brittany drives a minivan. She loves what she does. She doesn't care about the money. She wants to mold and teach the younger generation, and money is not an option for her. How would you like if I came out and talked about your money? Eddie Smith says, in the documentary, The Book of Manning, when he has a kid, didn't he, Archie, that he wanted to go to LSU? Eddie, I don't mean to be rude. I don't really know what you mean, but if I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't ever really remember that. Dion Black says you can't talk about my money because I ain't got. Damn, Dion. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Oh God. This old vet says, "Who is Brittany? Is she single?" Oh wait, I'm not. I hear you. I hear you. Brian Russell says Carmichael is the OC. DA is obviously trying to keep his job. DA is going to get his ass fired. Pete Carmichael's not a good offensive coordinator. And if you don't go get a good quarterback, guys, Drew Brees didn't want Pete Carmichael as his OC. Why are you trying to convince me that it's okay? Stop that. Stop that. You know, that's like saying that I don't know what that's like saying because I don't ever really remember a time of something like this happening. You know, when Eric Bieniemy is a free agent as an offensive coordinator, why in a Sam hell are you not going after Eric Bieniemy and you're signing Pete Carmichael? I mean, for that part, I don't get it. Like I really don't get it. And for all the non-Saints fans in here, I understand you might not want to talk about it. Rick says Dion says that because all of his money is in his wife's like mine. Ha. Brian says not. Yeah, he says he was trying to say not. I get you, Brian. I'm right there with you. I get you, but the Saints are going to Saint, man. And every Saints fan, look, let me tell you something, Saints fans. I'm one of you. I love the Saints. My wife and I have season tickets on row like 21, 22, right there on the 50 and the club bunker, whatever level, whatever. We go to every home game or try to at least go to every home game. I don't talk about it and don't put my money where my mouth is. I love the black and gold. Don't let the black and gold glasses, like what happens at LSU, go over your eyes and say this guy should be here because he's one of us. Don't do that. You're not in a situation like Ed Orgeron was where he had something established and could recruit and put some good things and pieces in place. You're able to win a championship. Dennis Allen doesn't have that. You can't go get that franchise quarterback like that. Not in the NFL. Those are a dime a dozen. A dime a dozen. And this whole Pete Carmichael thing, man, it's not going to bode out well. I'm telling you. Pete Carmichael's a Rudy Poo. Well, and let me tell you what's going to happen too. Jameis is going to have games where he throws the ball for 300 yards against the Jaguars. Whoopity-doo. I really don't care. Here's another thing. You also right now currently don't know about the status of your all-pro running back. This is the most Saints that we've talked about in a long time. But I told you we would talk a little bit more Saints once Sean got out of there. Speaking of Sean, very interesting that Michael Thomas is really intrigued to come back and play for the Saints now that Sean Payton's left, huh? Spencer Trihon says on YouTube, hashtag Ask Blake, with Pete Carmichael at OC, what's the ceiling for the Saints record-wise? Can you see them competing for the NFC South Championship? Yes, because I think it's wide open. I don't think that they could make it past the first round of the playoffs. Nope. Rick says, Blake, I'm with you. I trust Drew over others, including Mickey Loomis, who seems opposed to drafting LSU players. Well, it's not necessarily that I'm opposed to Mickey Loomis. I think Mickey's done some really good things. But at what point do you say Drew didn't trust him, and so I should? I got to see more. Pete Carmichael was the OC for a little while, and Drew hated him. Drew hated him as the offensive coordinator. And when Sean came back, if you remember, the first thing Drew said was he was so excited that Sean could come back and call plays. Not that Sean was back to be the head coach and to build the culture and do all of those things. His thing was he was so excited that Sean could come back and call plays. That should tell you how much he did not like Pete Carmichael. I mean, my man looks like Arthur the Turtle. Hurdle. I mean, I'm not trying to take personal shots, but, I mean, get it through your head, bro. All right. We need to talk some LSU baseball, too. Everybody do us a favor right now. There's a lot of you watching right now. 150 of you watching right now live on YouTube. There's only 74 likes. Everybody hit that like button. Can you help a brother out? But Aunt Marshall says, Bieniemy, Gruden, Montgomery would all be better than Pete Carmichael. I agree. Lee says, ready for some baseball, hearing all kinds of great things from the players about how Jay Johnson has improved in swings. Can't wait to see it. Yeah, you know what's interesting about LSU baseball? I'm firing inside your questions. Hashtag Ask Blake, and we'll end it after the LSU baseball segment. I am very excited for LSU baseball, like you guys. I am very excited to see what this lineup can do. I'm also very excited for and I talked about this, in the uploaded episode from today. I'm also very excited to see guys like Cade Beloso, to see guys like Alex Milazzo. But this lineup is absolutely stacked. I mean, absolutely stacked. Let me just, I threw away my notes from earlier today, which is stupid by me. I always do the stupidest stuff. Dylan Cruz, Jacob Berry, Trey Morgan, Kay Doty, Gavin Dugas, Jordan Thompson, Hayden Travinsky, or Milazzo, whatever one. The other catcher, his name's slipping my mind right now. Beloso, DiGiacomo. Am I missing a second baseman? Maybe you rotate there. But guys, you have, I mean, hell, even if you put Drew Bianco there, I mean, you know what's funny to me, and I said this earlier today. You know what's so funny to me about LSU fans? I put inside the comments the other day on Facebook, what are you excited about watching with this team? And everybody's like, I want Gorilla Ball back, Blake. I want Gorilla Ball back. I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, they hit 93 home runs last year, and at times during the season, they were leading the country in home runs. Maybe we start seeing a couple of more just hits. Let's get a couple more hits in there first. How many times did Gavin Dugas come up to the plate last season against Oregon or whoever it was and have to hit a home run to get things going? Gavin Dugas was probably your MVP of the postseason. Rick says, Blake, I saw that Blake Money pitch in high school in Tennessee. He's focused, and I think he'll do well on the wet mound. Yeah, if you missed it, Blake Money will get to start this Friday. He will be the Friday night guy, which is very exciting. Really looking forward to seeing Blake Money. Jack Davis says, in the words of Buckethead, Omaha. He's talking about Peyton. Yeah. Jerome, I know what you're saying here. I want to see the K's and maybe the K lady, but all those K's in a row, I got it. Makes me cautious. Dustin Jenkins says, hashtag Ask Blake. No doubt. We have one of the best lineups in the country. Pitching scares me. The pitching also scares me. And look, and I agree with, I was just about to say this with Lee too. Lee says play a little small ball at times. Hell yeah. If you got runners on first and second, DiGiacomo's up at the plate, bunt a guy over. Let them put pressure on their defense. If DiGiacomo can beat it out, let him try to beat it out. Get runners on second and third. If DiGiacomo's in the 9-hole, then you got a guy like Dylan Cruz, Jacob Berry, or Morgan coming up to the plate. There's nothing wrong with bunting. This never bunt crowd, you're idiots. You're absolute idiots. You have no idea what you're talking about. You never bunt. You got one of the fastest guys in all of college baseball, runners on first and second. If he lays out a bunt and he can beat it out and you got no outs, and Trey Morgan's coming up to a plate or Dylan Cruz is coming up to a plate, put the pressure on. Don't hit into a double play. Analytics actually tells you that it's good to bunt. Stupid ass. I hate when people talk about that stupid stuff. Jerome says strikeout Blakes. Jerome, I know. I'm just messing around. Edwin Reeves says Johnson will definitely get Beloso to stop swinging in one spot. Yeah, let's hope so. Pooh Bear says, LOL, too many Ks make me grab the piece. Oh, God, it's so great. This guy is so great. Oh, God. Pooh Bear always will say something funny, bro. Colin Thibodeau says, hashtag Ask Blake. I know that they can hit the long ball. I need to see them get timely hits and not waste opportunities and score some runs. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Patton says, thank you, hashtag Blake. This anti-bunt ass is ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Whoever comes up, whoever says that kind of stuff, I mean, bro, stop it. I don't care if it's DiGiacomo. I really don't. Unless it's Dylan Cruz that you're asking to lay the bunt down, I don't have a problem with anybody else doing it. Or Jacob Berry. Anybody else, stop it. All right. We'll cut it a little bit short tonight because we went a little bit longer. Listen, Linda. Linda. We will be doing specific uploads on YouTube. Specific interviews, exclusive interviews. We have one with Matt Trent today. We'll be uploading at the end of the show. So yeah. So please get everybody who's an LSU fan that you know, even if they're not an LSU fan, we're going to be kicking it around all the SEC. Please get everybody you know to subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. I beg you. All right. We're calling it a night. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Another thing. We are very much hoping to have some big news tomorrow. I do not know if we're going to be able to announce it tomorrow, but I'm very confident that we will have some big news tomorrow. So be on the lookout. I don't know what time it's going to come. Hopefully it comes around lunchtime. We're very, very, very excited about this news too. So I'm excited. All right. No, I can't tell you. But we've been working. So I'm going to say, see y'all soon. Have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.